Free agency's winding down. Carolina Panthers, very few teams added as many potential starters as they did. But what can they add in the draft to tie all of these things together and be competitive for the NFC South in 2025? I'm Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net, ESPN Radio Asheville, and an affiliate of the Carolina Panthers. And this is a 4-round post-free agency mock draft for the Carolina Panthers.
Ain't no truth on the radio station. Somebody owes me an explanation. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.
And I'm unapologetic.
Carolina missed on Milton Williams, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure that you shouldn't be happy about that after I saw the deal that New England gave him. Going into the draft, I still feel like Carolina needs an edge rusher, a cornerback, a linebacker, a free safety, and then we get into wide receiver, nose tackle, a handful of other needs. Carolina needs talent. That's the biggest thing. They need an infusion of talent, and this draft is a great place to do that. So as you can see right here on the side of the screen, you can see the players that they added in free agency. Trayvon Moehrig, I think, will be a really good box safety for them. Bobby Brown, that's now the nose tackle. I like how that tied together Derek Brown and Tavell Wharton that they signed from the Kansas City Chiefs. This is definitely an improved defense. It is far from a finished product. At 8, if it were up to me, I would do everything in my power to trade down, and that's what I've done here. At 8, the New York Jets didn't take Tyler Warren. I know he won't get past 9, so I called the Indianapolis Colts and moved down a few spots. Did I get as much as I would like? Not really. I got a second-round pick, had to give up my pick at the beginning of the 4th. So now I have an extra pick in the second round as the Carolina Panthers. I'm looking at the pieces on the board, and for me, this wouldn't even – I wouldn't think twice. I'm going to take the hometown kid, and that's James Pearce Jr. Absolute dog of a pass rusher, 23% pass rush win rate last year at Tennessee. There's some talk of him being a character problem and different things like that. I just can't find anybody that'll actually put their name on it. Oh, by the way, he's also really good against the run. The knock on him is that he's a little bit thin, weighing in about 245 pounds. I think that's roughly his playing weight, but he's a freak athlete. You saw that at the combine. The fastest of the edge rushers, absolutely blew it out as I thought he would. Here I trade down to 14 and still get my guy. If they sit at 8, do not be shocked if they take Shamar Stewart. 10's a little rich, or the top 10 is a little rich for James Pearce with the potential character issues. I don't think they're a thing, and no one I talk to thinks they're a thing. But the perception would still be tough to take him that high. Here, I trade back, get my guy, James Pearce Jr. at number 14 to the Carolina Panthers. Drop down to number 45. And for me, this would be an absolute home run because I get a player that I think this is the guy that ties my defense together. I can put him on the opposite side of J.C. Horn. Is Shavon Revel. By draft day, I will figure out that the H is silent. He is a better zone corner right now than man. He is also insanely raw. But at his size, 6'3" and some change, freak, alien fast, as you see from the evaluation right there from PFF. This kid reminds me of Tariq Woolen of the Seattle Seahawks because he's so tall, he's so long. Bigger receivers are not going to mess with him. The only thing that you really have to worry about with Revel, sometimes his hands and his brain don't operate in the same accord. So when he tries to press guys, sometimes he will lurch too far forward, but he has such good recovery speed that it's almost impossible to get behind him. The knock on him, the biggest knock on him is the medical. He is coming off an ACL tear. He was not able to run at the combine. He will not be able to run at his pro day. So you're basically going off the tape. The good thing is that the tape is so damn good that I'm not overly worried about it. And I would be ecstatic if I was the Panthers to get him there in the top of the second round. Now, my second round pick that I actually possessed, the first one was from Indianapolis. This is the one from the Rams with the trade up last year. There are a lot of different places that I could go here. I feel like Carolina has needs up and down the board. Adding Rico Dowdle takes running back off the board for me. I've got Chuba. I have Dowdle. I have whatever I get out of Jonathan Brooks, so I don't necessarily have to do that. I've already addressed corner, so I'm not going there. Panther fans are not going to love what I'm getting ready to do, but I can't help it. I don't believe Aikem Ekwonu is actually naturally a left tackle, so I'm going to draft a developmental piece. He could play right away. You give him a year, I think this kid can be an absolute stud. It's Aireontae Ersery, offensive tackle out of Minnesota. This is the luxury that I get of adding a second round pick, because I can take a bit of a project. Look, Carolina on the high side, I think, can compete for the weakest division in the NFL. I also feel like you have to be looking to the future of Bryce Young and this team. This is not a great honey hole. That's one of the problems that I have with how Carolina lines up. You don't have a ton of guys that are going to fill immediate needs. So I'm going to go get the best player on the board, which is what Ersery provides. He can be a really solid left tackle in this league. And if after 8 weeks of Aikem Ekwonu, you need to move him around, or there's an injury or anything of that nature, I like Brady Christensen better on the interior. I'm going to take Aireontae Ersery here as my future at left tackle. I have 2 more picks in this, looking at my needs for the Carolina Panthers. I have addressed edge. I've addressed corner. I still need a linebacker. I still need a free safety. Free safety is going to be tough because this draft class is so bad at over-the-top safety once you get past Malachi Starks and Nicky Manwari. I really want a linebacker. I really would like to add another receiver. So let's see what is available at receiver. I don't think I'm going to love it. Maybe I will. Yeah, I can't bypass this. I'm not going to take Trey Harris solely because I know Panther fans are going to get Jonathan Mingo comps. I need a developmental slot to take over for Adam Thielen in a year, and I'm going to find that in Jaylin Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. This kid is freakishly fast, very compact slot receiver, but he's really powerful at the point of the catch. If you look here at 52% contested catch rate is really impressive for a guy that's 5'11". Really good against man, high-end receiving grade. Drop rate's a little high, but nothing to really jump up and down about. 1,200-yard receiver last year at Iowa State. 4th most deep yards among receivers in all of college football. This is the over-the-top threat. One of the issues I have with Carolina is that I feel like they're locked into Liggett. I feel like they're locked into Coker. I feel like they're locked in for 1 year to Adam Thielen. None of those guys really challenge you over the top. So if I'm going to take a receiver, it's got to be a guy that can take the top off, help me in the running game, help me in the play action game, and I think Jaylin Noel does that. Really good value here at pick number 74. I'm ecstatic about that one. I know people are not going to love the Aireontae Ersery. That's a long-standing thing. I've obviously been an affiliate of the Panthers. I watch all the games. I do not believe you can succeed at the highest level with Aikem Ekwonu on the left side. I want to pull him into guard or to right tackle, and that's a year ahead. Jaylin Noel makes up for that because that's the value that you would have been looking for. I got an extra pick, so I was able to take care of something for the long term for myself. All right, here at 114, I know exactly what position I want to go because this is the honey hole for linebacker, and there is one right there that I like a lot. You're going to hear a bunch of people say this kid can't really – he doesn't do anything particularly well. Barrett Carter doesn't fit into the defense, so I can't take him. I'm going to look to one step below that. Jack Kiser, kid out of Notre Dame, just an absolute bulldog in the run game. I think this really helps you stop the run. I added another corner. I locked up J.C. Horn. So now my secondary I'm feeling better about. I added Trayvon Moehrig. The free safety is going to be a position that I'm going to have to address through a trade, through the second round of free agency, something of that nature. Free safety is just not very good in this class. Jack Kiser is the leader of a defense. I watched him at the Senior Bowl absolutely as the air traffic controller, putting guys in the right position. He's not the most physically gifted kid that you've ever seen in your life, and he is a 2-down linebacker for right now. I think there's a possibility because he's just such a damn good football player that he could become a 3-down linebacker in time. It's just going to take time. But that gives me a piece that I can put in the middle of the defense. as I said, he's not crazy athletic, which is why he's going to fall. But the scouts love him and coaches will love him. He's an easy kid to love. All right, so let's zoom that in there. We'll get a draft grade on the Panthers. All right, we take James Pearce at 14, which I absolutely love, after the trade down with Indianapolis. Shavon Revel in the second round, along with Aireontae Ersery. Ersery, the developmental piece that can be a piece for me this year. Some people think he can play guard. I think he's exclusively a tackle. Jaylin, Noel, my over-the-top threat at wide receiver, and then Jack Kiser, linebacker out of Notre Dame. PFF gives me a B+, which is in the bottom 33% of drafts. Because a lot of you take guys that are going to be long gone in drafts. This is the way this draft class could go, which is how I try to do these. If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if there's a player you want to talk about with the Carolina Panthers, feel free to throw those in the comments. I answer all of those myself. If you like this video, It does more for us than I could ever say. Subscribe to the channel to get all of our NFL draft content as we prepare for 3 days in Green Bay, the most expensive 3 days of my life. Seriously, $800 a night for a hotel. That's what we're spending at the NFL draft. Hey, NFL, stop putting this shit in remote places like Green Bay, Wisconsin. Put it in a big city. Nashville was great. Chicago, Detroit. It's all great. Leave it there. But we will be there all 3 days live on Radio Row. Every single pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. We have a 4-man team going to bring you the best draft coverage that you're going to see from 4 hillbillies ever. And it's North Carolina representing in Green Bay. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and NFLDraft.net. You can find all of my prospect rankings this week on the website. You can find me on Twitter at ESPN Draft Nerd. And you can find me noon weekdays right here on this YouTube channel with our live ESPN radio show every single weekday. I'm Jeremy Green for the Sportsocracy and NFLDraft.net. Thank you for checking out our 4-round mock draft of the Carolina Panthers.
Ain't no truth on the radio station. Somebody owes me an explanation. Well, I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy
And